Please welcome to the program, David Spade.
Exciting.
Hey, man, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Welcome back.
Hey. All right. Aha. They all made it. It's
They all
nice.
made it.
Not an empty seat in the house.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to see you, buddy.
You too, man. You're an invisible man in your new movie.
Yeah.
Is there any inner pain that you're channeling to be the invisible man? Could you relate to that?
No, I was just lucky to be in there. Yeah. Except, you know, and then he's talking about this Hotel Transylvania movie is coming out, and it's Adam Sandler's Dracula. It's a cartoon movie, and I'm the Invisible Man. But I sort of got ripped off because I'm all I have is glasses in the movie, you know? It's one of those things. So I wanted to be one of those characters at Burger King or something, but it's only glasses, so it's sort of a drag. So I look on the poster, nowhere to be found. No. But it was still fun to do, and
Your aim is to be a mascot? That's one of your goals in life?
I wanted to be one of those things that you get with like an apple pie, but because as a kid I used to love them. I didn't even know what they were. Just give me it, any toy they had. But we did it. You know, it's kind of fun doing those animated movies. I did one a long time ago called The Emperor's New Groove, where I was a llama, and that was good. Oh my God, that's not what I wanted, but thank you. See, that made it up here, right?
Shall we go back to the 80s together, my friends? Let's go to the 80s here.
Hello, the Bagelberry Cave. Natalie Green. I think we'll keep her.
Oh my God.
What do you mean?
I got mugged.
Oh, no. You know, that happened to my mother once. She told me the hardest thing about being mugged
Crazy?
was not crying.
What was the hardest thing about being mugged?
Not crying. I
was a med student in that, if you can believe it.
think we all remember where we were when Natalie moved to New York.
Yeah, that was the spin-off.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to be rich. Turns out I was not.
They say that for a lot of comics, a lot of the funny comes from stories of pain. And
Sure.
the same is true for you in your childhood?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm more on the normal tip compared, other than how I sit, but compared to comedians that have like super horrible stories and they're super depressed and all that. A lot of my comedian friends are sort of fun and upbeat. Sandler's a sweet guy. Chris Rock is very fun and cool. And Kevin James we've been with during grown-ups. And it's not always that, but there is stuff. If you look deep, there's some stuff going on. But I have to sort of say, if you look at anyone, everyone's sort of got some rough stuff in the past. It's not all smooth sailing for everybody. I mean, some parents, you know, some people's parents are still together. That was a big one. There's a common theme of like divorce, young divorce, and how you deal with that.
So, the death of a stepfather, like you dealt with some heavy stuff young.
Yeah, I mean, things bad happen, but you don't really know what to compare it to growing up. And then later, people go, you kind of had it rough, and I go, oh yeah, I guess, but it sucks. But it's whatever's going on. Also, you don't even know you're poor when you're poor.
Right.
You know, you're playing around. I remember we were talking today that I had a rock collection. I realized it was because it was inexpensive, you know? My mom's like, collect rocks. I'm like, all right. And then tin cans, and then glass. And I realized that, because at the beginning, my rock collection was worth nothing, and at the end, it was worth nothing still. But I had a lot of them. I'm gonna start crying. No, but...
You had an arsenal is what you had.
I had a lot of rocks to throw, water balloons. But, you know, it can be tough, and, you know, divorced dad, and things happen that were sort of tough along the way. But, you know, I look at friends, their families together, and there's a lot of illusion out there of people that you think totally have it together, and I meet these super famous people and these super rich people now, and some of them are just crumbling, things are going horribly, but if there's a good front out there, you get tricked, and you don't know it about everybody. So I don't know who's got it good and bad, but it was more survival growing up. Like, so I did stand-up. I go, I got to make my own money. Got to do this and this.
You know, you mentioned Tommy Boy being up here. You were obviously good friends with Chris Farley. We know the movie and know his character. What's the thing that you remember the most about him?
He died owing me money. No, I'm kidding. He was actually our funnest time was up here because we did Tommy Boy, and that is to date the most well-known, well-received movie I've done, and love it and love doing it, and that was some of my best memories. Saturday Night Live rehearsals were great with him, just screwing around moments, but for me and him just together going back and forth to do Tommy Boy and fly up here all the time and on weekends, and it was very tough and very hard, and we we got through it, but we were making up jokes, and they weren't really watching what we were doing, so we were just like, try Fat Guy in a Little Coat. It's not in there, but let's just do it and see if it's funny. Or we'll do housekeeping, because I do that every morning to him, and he fell for it every morning. And I go, let's put that in. It's so dumb. And it was one of the few times where you go, look, what makes us laugh? And let's just see if anyone else thinks it's funny. Even the director would go, I don't know if that's funny. Let's try it, if you guys think. And it was sort of a perfect storm of it all working. And it came out. It wasn't even like a $100 million movie. It just sort of stayed out there and remained sort of a culty thing and proud moment. And after that, Black Sheep, and then, you know, when you got more into the stuff and like when you start doing drugs and stuff, you get with a different crowd. And so I would see less of them, and it was hard because you can't talk someone out of that, and you see a bunch of skanky people around me, you know it's all for the wrong reasons. And I just sort of, people thought we had a lot of trouble, but we didn't. It was just, I would drift away because it wasn't my scene. And then we'd talk, and then we talked about doing one more right before the end. So we had a good plan for another one, and those were always the funnest. So for Memories of Him, it was all just, in general, all good, big laughs, and sweet guy, you know.
I saw those pictures the other day. You tweeted it wasn't about him, but it obviously, you know, brought up the Tommy Boy thing.
Boy poster.
Yeah, the Romney. You see this picture? Chris Christie, Mitt Romney, Romney Boy.
And I said that was funny, and
that's from Mad Magazine, right?
Yeah, I don't know what. Is that what it's from? Someone sent me that pictures I put on, and the funny thing about stupid Twitter is that if you do anything slightly political, everyone goes crazy. So I said this was funny, but then they thought I hated Romney or whatever. So I try to stay right in the middle. I don't want anyone to know anything I'm thinking, because I'm some dumb actor, you know. So I just kind of keep it to myself. But if they get a whiff, one time the traffic was bad, and I'm like, every time Obama comes to town, the traffic was bad. Then everyone lights me up that loves Obama, so they hate me.
Stick around more with David Spade after
Coming
this.
right back.
Coming up, what do you need to be happy? Author of the top-selling book, The Happiness Project, Gretchen Rubin, and our Three Things panel next.
Happiness is a day with your loved ones. Just one day. Don't get greedy, kids, okay?
I've done some animation, and here's how easy it is. It's the easiest job in the world. I go in a booth, and I go, what's the line? And the guy goes, it's time to go to the store. And then I go, it's time to go to the store. And you like that? Oh, we can move on? Okay. And then I go, well, what's the next line? He goes, oh, it's getting dark outside. It's getting dark outside. And then they give me $1 million.
Is that your experience with animation?
No.
No?
The first part, yes. The $1 million part, no. But he does Madagascar. It's a little different.
For sure, for sure. Does Chris Rock still not talk to you when he's out with Eddie Murphy?
No, now I've made up with Eddie Murphy.
You have made up.
I did see him. He mentioned in this Rolling Stone article he's still mad at me after 30 years. So I was like, oh,
There was a bit on SNL where there was a picture of Eddie Murphy, and David says, oh, look, the falling star. And apparently he lost his mind over that.
I wish, yeah.
Right?
But that was after he did like 2 cruddy movies in a row. And anyway, it didn't hurt him, but he was very mad about it. And so I thought it was funny he'd even be mad about it, but then it wasn't funny when he called. And then but about every few years I'd see Rock, and he goes, if I'm with Eddie, I can't talk to you. And Eddie was the clear winner. But we finally made up, and I ran into Eddie, and we talked for a second. So he's fine with it now.
Yeah, let's go face math here for a second. So,
what do I do?
You were talking about Miley and Miley's haircut, I believe, right? It's pretty intense.
Yes. Is that it?
There's the cut.
There's
from
Miley. And what I said. And there's Ellen.
Yeah, and then you add those two together, and
Where's
you get
Spade?
you. I've heard you talk about stuff, but I can never tell if you're serious. But did you ever actually try to make a move on Ellen?
Sort of.
Because the rumor was you were into her.
Yes. I mean, as much as I could be in a week of doing stand-up with her, we did the Dallas Improv. She was the headliner, and I was the middle act, and she had the big condo, so I'd go there to watch TV, or I think she had HBO, so that was cool. And then we flew home together, and she had a Walkman, so I thought she was rich. And remember Walkman? I'm sort of dating myself. And And then we got home, and I go, hey, Ellen's kind of hot. She is very pretty, you know?
Absolutely.
And she was funny, and I go, she's cute. And they're like, yeah. I go, well, she's single? They go, yeah. Because everyone knew about the comedy world way ahead, you know? I go, maybe I should go out with her. And they're like, I don't know if that's going to work. And then I got the news.
Yeah.
But I got it like 10 years early, so.
Nice. That's
But yeah,
all
but she's a good friend still. She's always been nice to me.
You can check out the film. September 28th is when it's in the theaters. It's called
The
Hotel
vampire one, yeah,
Transylvania.
Hotel
It's his
Transylvania.
vampire film.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
David Spade, everybody.
Top vampire film of all time.
Thanks, man.
This side I never looked at.